Welcome back to the bar, and in this series where we're really looking at best practice menu items on the bar menu, each week we're looking at a different item and we're just breaking it down and hopefully giving you some hints and some tips about what you might look at and focus on to make it work. So in this particular bar chat, I want to look at best practice prioritization of ideas. Hundreds of people across the organization come up with ideas. The ones that tend to hit the radar and go on to the eventual project roadmap are often where people shout the loudest about their idea and it sort of gets onto the roadmap, as opposed to any scientific or mathematical or any other evaluation that essentially leads you to make sure you've got the best projects on your roadmap that are going to release the maximum benefit to your business. So with idea prioritization is extremely important, and there's some really good opportunities to do this better than many do it at the moment. So what's the ideal dish? What are we aiming for with idea prioritization? We're aiming to prioritize the development of ideas that generate the most important benefits for the business. Now, when I say most important, most of them or a lot of them will be financial. Not all of them. Some of them will be revenue generating, some of them will be cost saving, but some of them will be more to do with CO2 emissions, or they might be less hard benefits or financial benefits. They might be to do with customer satisfaction. They might be to do with one of the strategic objectives in the business that's not about driving additional revenues, cost or profit. It might be about something totally different. So you have to have a way of prioritizing based on the most important needs of the business as a whole. So what are the problems that we're trying to solve then? Why do they go wrong? Why does idea prioritization tend to be a problem? So firstly, first problem we're trying to solve is where ideas get prioritized by those who shout the loudest. It's just not a very technical way of prioritizing what you do and what you don't do. But I'm afraid it's a very prevalent way of it happening. It happens a lot. Secondly, we want to enable good decision making for priorities. And in order to do that, you've got to have a balance between, how does it link to our corporate objectives and our financial objectives? So really getting that balance right between what we prioritize and what we don't. The third is avoiding excessive resource and effort, developing ideas into business cases and business plans before they're prioritized. And this is a big one. We see this time and time again where big parts of the organization are consumed in building papers and business cases on ideas that really, if you gave them a 5-minute overview and had a discussion about them, you'd be able to prioritize them relatively quickly and either move them to one side or push them over to develop them into wider ideas and business cases, etc. The fourth one is we're trying to avoid the ideas sitting in lots of different places across the organization rather than in a central repository. And then finally, we're trying to make sure we don't lose track of some brilliant ideas that are out there that may not be right today, but that could be right in 6 months or a year's time. So what are the ingredients? The ingredients that we look for are, and I think it'd be worth you thinking about this, are, so number one, a repository, a central repository for all ideas. So taking the ideas off spreadsheets in different parts of the organization, pulling them into one single repository. Number two, secondly, is a simple initial idea evaluation. So a concept card or something that is very simple, that the person that has the idea or who wants to get it onto the roadmap identifies that just at a high level, what is the idea? What are the objectives? What benefits do we think it'll be realized? How operationally complex do we think it would be to implement? What sort of time frame would it be likely to happen in? You don't need to spend a huge amount of time on that in order to enable a valuable discussion about whether it is a priority or not, and give it a score with a weighting such that it comes out prioritized almost by itself, but with some level of science behind it, without making it into a bureaucratic nightmare. So keep it simple and focus on an effective way of evaluating each idea and how it links to corporate objectives, financial objectives, etc. The magic ingredient here is keep it simple. It's so easy to overcomplicate it. And PMOs are often, there is often a risk that a PMO will overcomplicate something like this, when actually the people that need to take the decisions need something relatively simple to work with. So keep it simple. Finally, we have a magic ingredient for this one, which can just help you run best practice idea prioritization. If you want to have a look or talk to us about it, click the link in the post, the LinkedIn post, and we will show you our magic ingredient. And if it's helpful, so much the better. Good luck. Thank you for coming to the bar chat today. It's been great to have you in the bar, and I hope you've enjoyed the topic we've been talking about. Now, if there's anything in this topic, if there's anything in this bar chat that's particularly resonated with you, or there's a challenge that you're facing with your portfolio or your program or your stakeholders or whatever it might be, then one of the things that I'm offering is a free private bar function. So you can either come into our very own bar and come and be a part of it, and I promise you there'll be a drink waiting here for you, or I'll come to you, or we'll have a phone call, and we can maybe kick the tires on over a bar chat on a challenge that you're facing internally with your program, portfolio, or whatever. If you want to do that, please take me up on the offer. I don't expect anything in return, and I really genuinely don't. You're very welcome to just click the link in the post on LinkedIn. There's a link in there. Connect and register, and we will be in touch to sort a private bar function out. Come and see me in the bar.